You're not here by accident. Something in you clicked on this video because you felt it. That quiet, uncomfortable pull in your chest. The feeling that there is a truth you've been avoiding. Maybe it's the truth about who you are becoming. Maybe it's the truth about who you've stopped being. Or maybe it's the truth about the life you knew you were meant to live, but somehow drifted away from. We all have a truth like that. The one we circle around but never touch. The one we feel burning behind our ribs but pretend isn't there. The one we bury under routines, distractions, and excuses until we forget it exists, or convince ourselves that it never did. But the truth has a strange way of waiting. It waits patiently, silently, relentlessly, and eventually it asks to be faced. Today, you face it. Let me ask you something. When was the last time you sat alone, without a screen, and simply listened to what your life has been trying to tell you? Most people don't. Most people are terrified of their own thoughts. Nietzsche once wrote that the individual has always had to struggle to keep from being overwhelmed by the tribe. But the modern tribe isn't other people. It's noise, notifications, opinions, expectations, a constant stream of things designed to keep you from hearing yourself think. And in that silence you avoid, there is a truth that could change your entire life. Most never hear it. Most never want to. Because truth, real truth, requires something rare. Courage. Not the loud, heroic courage we admire in stories, but the quiet courage to look at yourself honestly. And not flinch. There's a story Plato told in the Republic about prisoners chained in a cave, mistaking shadows on the wall for reality. When one prisoner breaks free and sees the real world, he is blinded by the light. And when he returns to tell the others, they refuse to believe him. We love that story because it sounds profound, until we realize it's about us. You have a cave. Your cave is made of familiar routines, predictable emotions, and the identity you've worn for years. Your cave is comfortable, even when it suffocates you. Stepping out of it means admitting that the life you've been living might not be the one you truly want, that the beliefs you cling to might be too small for the person you're growing into, that the dreams you abandoned might still be waiting for you, just outside the entrance. But most people stay chained to the wall, not because they can't leave, but because leaving exposes the truth that they were always capable of more. And that truth hurts. Dietrich Bonhoeffer once wrote that the person who is alone with their truth is the free person. But freedom is terrifying when you've lived your whole life inside invisible walls. Psychologists call this self-betrayal. The moment you know the right thing to do, the honest thing, the courageous thing, and choose the easier path instead. At first, it's subtle, a small lie, a postponed decision, a feeling you ignore because it's inconvenient. You think it doesn't matter, but it does. Every act of self-betrayal is a vote against the person you want to become. And the tragedy is that you don't feel the consequences immediately. You feel them slowly, over years. They show up as regret, numbness, restlessness, that quiet sense that your life is shrinking instead of expanding. The philosopher Kierkegaard described this perfectly. The most painful state of being is remembering the future you never had. Think about that. Not the past you regret, but the future you could have lived if you had simply told yourself the truth sooner. And maybe that's why you're here now, because part of you is tired of shrinking. Let me share something uncomfortable. Most people don't fail because they're incapable. They fail because their identity is outdated. Their habits belong to who they were, not who they want to become. Their beliefs were inherited, not chosen. Their excuses feel familiar, and familiarity is addictive. Machiavelli once wrote that there is nothing more difficult to take in hand than to introduce a new order of things. Not because the world resists you, but because you resist you. The old version of you fights for survival. It whispers convincing lies. You're not ready. People will judge you. You'll fail. It's safer to stay where you are. But safety is a slow death. Comfort is a quiet coffin. The life you want will cost you the life you're used to. And that trade terrifies people. Yet here is the truth you've been avoiding. Staying the same will cost you far more. Because every time you silence the calling inside you, you teach yourself to live smaller. You teach yourself to settle. You teach yourself to fear your own potential. And nothing is more dangerous than a person who has convinced themselves that the life they have is the only one possible. Now, here's the twist you probably didn't expect. The truth you've been avoiding is not about your fears. It's not about your failures. It's not about the person you used to be. It's about your power. You are more capable than you allow yourself to believe, more intelligent than you give yourself credit for, more resilient than your past suggests, and more destined than your doubts will ever admit. The world hasn't underestimated you. You've underestimated yourself. And somewhere deep inside, you know it. So here is the truth. The one you've avoided, postponed, escaped, wrapped in excuses, and buried under routines. Your life will not change until you become the person who can no longer tolerate the version of yourself that settles. Change doesn't happen when it's easy. It happens when the pain of staying the same becomes too heavy to carry. And maybe this is that moment for you. Not a dramatic epiphany, not a sudden transformation, just a quiet decision. A decision to stop lying to yourself. A decision to step out of the cave. A decision to stop waiting for the perfect moment. A decision that says, I'm done betraying myself. Because the truth you've been avoiding is the life you haven't lived yet. The life that requires courage. The life that demands honesty. The life that will cost you comfort, certainty, and who you used to be. But it will give you something far more powerful, yourself. So let me leave you with this final thought. One that I hope stays with you long after this video ends. Most people spend their entire lives running from the truth that was meant to set them free. Don't be one of them. Walk toward the truth you fear. Walk toward the life you've delayed. Walk toward the person you were meant to become. Because on the other side of avoidance is the freedom you've been searching for your whole life. And it's been waiting for you to finally claim it.